Hey, welcome everyone back to our series called Leading for Good. I'm Steve Coates. I'm here with Tom Hoyer, and we're really excited about getting into this second episode with you today about the subject called forgiveness. Tom, how are you on this great day?
Really well. Been back from a trip for 5 or 6 days, rested and enjoying where we are in life. So thanks, Steve. And how are you?
Great. I'm doing fine as well, and really enjoying summertime. So
Yeah.
it's a little hot,
And
but
this
I,
this idea of where we are, spent a lot of time over the last couple of weeks really thinking how important forgiveness is for leaders to be able to do good. If we have this emotional strain hanging over us about a situation that we need forgiveness from, it's going to be very difficult for us to really go out and do good in the community. So I'm glad we're talking about this today.
good, good. Yeah, and I wanted to also just we'd like to do our kind of our each session have our little caveat, and on this one is Tom and I are just greatly interested in leadership. And through this series, we're talking about leadership and relating it to universal principles and Christian teachings. Uh, that said, we don't want you to misconstrue that we are the perfect role models for much of what we're talking about. Uh, we have our daily lists of screw ups and mistakes and all that stuff. And I don't know about you, Tom, but every day my list has got entries on it. It's never been a blank sheet. So we're all here just to learn about how we do become that better leader for good. Forgiveness is a key part of that, as is light and other things. But we're all on this journey together, and we're all going to make some progress together, and we're all going to make some mistakes together. And that's kind of just the way it is.
Yeah, that's right.
So let's get started on this. And I know we wanted to just recap briefly from our last episode. We talked about forgiveness, and Tom, just
Yeah. It's just
remind me.
those 3 points that are right on the slide here, Steve, forgiveness is, remember, it's a deliberate act. It's something that we specifically want to do, and it's about pardoning others. It's about releasing resentment, and resentment that sometimes just holds us to, paralyzes us, and allows us not to move forward. And then it's focused on granting mercy to the individual, to the group that we need to
Yeah,
provide that mercy to, or so. And it's modeled on God's forgiveness of humanity through Jesus Christ. That
yeah,
slide is so important.
and it's interesting. We're going to keep talking about this from a leadership perspective. Uh, Forgiveness, you know, it can contribute to mental health issues. There's family issues around forgiveness, and neither you or I are therapists or mental health specialists or anything. So we want to make sure we continue to frame this in terms of how we lead other people more effectively. And we don't want to go into those rabbit holes that you and I are not suited to talk about.
But it is, Steve, just one final thought on this. Leaders today need to have empathy. And
Yes,
this
they do.
idea of empathy is such an important part of forgiveness.
Yes, it is. Yeah. And it's interesting. When we you and I've done work with teams for most of our careers, and one of the things people don't realize is that in our assessment of the very best teams we've worked with, they are able to forgive one another. They try to be trustworthy and accountable with each other, but they also sit there, they know things aren't going to go as planned all the times. And we're going to talk about here in this session today, asking for forgiveness and granting forgiveness. And teams are very good at doing that with each other.
And it's interesting on teams, if somebody is not able to forgive, they eventually will become isolated.
Yeah,
from the rest of the team. And understand that this particular characteristic is so critical. You've got to be able to do that or get isolated.
yeah, good. So, as I mentioned, we're going to talk a little bit about forgiving, asking for, and providing. And this it's a difficult topic, but as we go forth for everybody watching, I hope look at these three items and maybe you can get one of those in your head because this will make our discussion a little bit more real for you as just opposed to a bunch of PowerPoint slides with some interesting content on them.
Yeah.
And I've held grudges. I've thought through circumstances on many occasions that I wish would have gone differently. Those kinds of things.
I think I held grudges until somebody somebody specifically forgave me. And when somebody specifically forgave me years ago, I realized, why should I be holding grudges when
Yeah,
somebody forgave me?
yeah, yeah. Well, here we go.
Yeah,
The first, the process, and Tom, as we've talked, there's no need to just go through and read these to each other, but to kind of comment on them overall.
remember the word process here. There's a step-by-step approach, and just think about state the forgiveness clearly, briefly present the action and validate the hurt. Empathetically, there's that word again, communicate your decision, and I think that takes practice. It takes don't jump into right away doing the forgiveness without practicing what it is that you want to say, and then set the expectations. Be
Yeah,
clear that you've made a decision of forgiveness to allow good to develop and grow in each other's lives, and then move forward with that. Move forward with it. Doesn't matter what the other person that you are forgiving or receiving forgiveness from. It's just time for you to move forward with it.
yeah, good. And I did want to remind folks that when we put up lists like this, we know people don't remember them. So if you want these, just hit the screenshot print screen on your computer, or you'll know that these are in this particular episode, and you can always come back to them. But it's this, yeah, you've got to be really prepared to forgive people. You've got to really be prepared to be asking for forgiveness and
And then be
empathy.
willing to let go of the resentment.
Yeah,
Don't do this unless you're willing to let go.
yeah. Yeah, and we know in time you and I both have had people in our lives, and we know people that are listening have those. This isn't just that I keep saying you just can't flip a switch and let this go. You've really got to reflect on this
That's
because
right.
I know people have got folks that they're struggling with right now that they just may not be able to forgive at the moment. And on the other side of this, there's this
Yeah.
idea of seeking forgiveness. You want to make some comments about that for us?
Understand that there are things that you have done that have created a problem with your relationship with people. And that first one, be specific and direct, and just say, "Yeah, I'm sorry if I upset you," and show that level of emotion and sense of understanding and that sense of true empathy when you're doing this.
Yeah, we've talked about politicians that'll sometimes come out and say, "Gee, I'm sorry if my actions made you feel bad. Boo-hoo, it's your problem, it's not mine." That's not what seeking forgiveness is about.
Yeah. And Steve, you go down there, and then as you talk through it with them about what it is that you did, at the end, I think it's really important to say, "Can you forgive me? Will you please forgive me?" And hopefully they'll understand and see that, but maybe they won't at that particular time. You still need to move on. You still need to move on. You've done your best in understanding and presenting it. Now it's time to move on.
Yeah, that's one where you've accepted the accountability for your actions. And I'm sorry about that. I really hope you will forgive me. It was what I did was wrong. I understand the impact, and I hope we can move on.
And I remember, quick story, 30-second story, when at one of the places that I was the chief operating officer, I remember that I made a mistake with the first person when I first took that position. I made a mistake with them and I asked forgiveness. They couldn't quite accept it, but they came back to me a month later
Yeah,
and said, I now understand why this all occurred and I accept your forgiveness.
yeah,
I accept what you said. And so it may take them some time to really, it may take them some time really to work through the forgiveness that you're asking.
yeah. And we also know, Tom, that even when you hear a statement like that, you and that person might butt heads again, and they may want to take a trip back to
Yeah,
this particular episode as well. It's not like when they've forgiven you that we can always be assured that it's 100%. And it's
yeah,
the same with us forgiving other people. We may still hold a little bit of memory
that's right.
about what
That's
they
right.
did. So
But yeah, that's right. And that's going to happen.
just why we say that it's so hard. But this is that piece we're trying to emphasize for people. You've got to be clear. It's got to be intentional on your part. You have to be genuine. You can delude yourself, okay, I'll forgive you, and you know that you haven't forgiven that other person, then forgiveness has not taken place.
Yeah.
Tell yourself that all you want, but you know deep in your heart it hasn't.
Yeah. The thing that I'm just thinking is forgiveness isn't forgetting what happened. I mean, you're gonna remember, but it's not condoning or excusing the harmful behavior, but it's just reconciling it and understanding and talking it through so that we can move forward.
Yeah. Yeah. It's we when we talk about these, we don't want to leave people with the impression that anytime you do any kind of wrong or someone wrongs you in some fashion, that you have to go through a
Yeah.
formal process of forgiving. These are things that we experience every day in the workplace,
Yes.
and they build.
Yes.
Some are a little bit more important, and then sometimes, this is for most people, this emotionally hurt me deeply
Yeah.
is a much deeper level of cause than just missing a deadline or taking undeserved credit for work. But the
I.
decision, this is what we all have to face.
No, that's right. And I specifically remember working in a situation where the CEO of the company almost always lied about something important.
Mm.
And it was really, really difficult after a while to fully understand and reconcile that. And ultimately, he got fired
Yeah.
and got canned specifically for that particular action that he was not able to, not only unable to reconcile, but change.
Yeah. And, Tom, as we bring this to a close here today, it's this idea of if we want to be leaders of light,
Yeah.
bring light into circumstances to eliminate the darkness. If we want to be a leader of good, just, hey, whatever happens here, maybe we can find some kind of good. It's going to require us to really reflect on and think about people that we may need to forgive and people that we may need to seek forgiveness of. Otherwise, those are going to be obstacles for us as we try to become this better leader.
And And as we close this, Steve, that point is so well taken. I think there's going to be a lot of individuals watching this that are going to come to a new reality about how important this idea of forgiveness is for them to be able to do good. I think they don't maybe don't quite understand this, but as they're listening, understanding, and seeing these slides, I think that may be a point that they're thinking about. Man, why is it that I'm not creating the kind of good that I want? And maybe it's because of this idea of forgiveness.
Great. Well, Tom, uh,
Yeah.
we're I think we're at the end of it for this session. Uh, been great talking with you again, and I hope again people are benefiting from these conversations we're having about
Yeah,
these
hope so
really,
too.
really important principles.
Enjoyed it a lot, Steve. See you.
Yep, we'll talk to you soon. So long.
Okay, all right.